is anti-Semitism? In 2016, the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance put forward a working definition that has been adopted by 38 countries, including Canada, and hundreds of municipalities, organizations, and corporations around the world. Now, some examples of anti-Semitism include Holocaust denial and perpetuating the old trope about a Jewish conspiracy. So let's turn to our panel. Dara Horn, has this definition helped clarify things?
Yes. Well, I mean, I think that the piece that people often come after with this definition is that it includes virulent anti-Zionism in it. And the reality is that that is often how anti-Semitism is expressed today. What I think is interesting is that there's plenty of conversations we can have about Israeli policy and foreign policy that many countries have toward Israel. That's not what's happening in the kind of thing that's being addressed in this definition. I want to be really clear. When a 15-year-old girl posts Shabbat Shalom on TikTok and then is flooded with trolls who are saying, hashtag free Palestine, you bitch, there's nothing in that exchange that has anything to do with an actual place called Israel. And yet somehow we're expected to pretend that it does because of the language used in that kind of attack. And you see this often with things like vandalism. I want to be really clear, this is not about criticism of Israel. This is about demonization. Criticism is a conversation. Demonization involves things like throwing eggs at people's heads. It's not hard to tell the difference between those two. But that's pretty much the only reason why people have come after this definition as being in any way controversial. And I think that people who created this definition will tell you that the reason that they did this was because it became a way of excusing anti-Semitism if suddenly you called it, anti-Zionism instead of anti-Semitism.
Irwin, Cotler, what's your take on this? And why is it controversial? There are cities and organizations that don't want to adopt this definition because they say it stifles free speech.
Well, the definition is a non-binding working definition. It's intended as a resource, as an educational asset. In other words, if you can't identify it, recognize it, define it, then it'll be very difficult to combat it. And what I think is missed in all this is that this definition is not only the most authoritative, comprehensive, international consensus definition that we have, but it's the most representative. And it states expressly that criticism of Israel, like any other state, is not anti-Semitic. So it protects critical speech of Israel, but it also protects those in the campuses, for example, Jewish students, their supporters whose speech is being increasingly silenced, maligned, intimidated. So it is a framework for protecting speech. And I see the anti-Semitism, as I've always said, as being, in effect, toxic to democracies, an assault on our common humanity, really, as it's been said many times, the canary in the mineshaft of global evil. So the IRA working definition, if you will, is actually protective of our democracies, protective of speech, combating these evils.
Sheba, there's something that you wrote that really stuck with me, and it was that when you write or talk about your experience of racism as a Black woman, no one challenges you. But when you talk about anti-Semitism, it's, oh, you're exaggerating, oh, you're not right. Tell me about that.
So often, be it in university, when I was involved in kind of anti-Black racism work, people in progressive spaces were ready and willing to hear experiences of anti-Black racism, but so often experiences of anti-Semitism are often labeled as exaggerated or a past truth, which kind of ignores everything that's preceded the Holocaust and everything that's come after it. And it's all part of the same issue.
And how did it make you feel?
It made me feel like one part of me was welcome when it came to equity-seeking spaces and when it came to pursuing justice, but that another part of me needed to be left at the door.
Martin, you're in Israel. What's your take on all of this?
The thing that really is stuck in my mind as an image is Donald Trump sitting with Kanye West and a white supremacist. I mean, the white supremacist hates Kanye West. Kanye West probably hates the white supremacist, but both of them bond together. They hate the Jews. In an overt public alliance is simply astounding. I think that what we're seeing now, though, is that it's all come out of the closet. It's all come out of the hidden areas. Now, anti-Semites feel very comfortable, especially with this Kanye West episode, to come out and say exactly what they think. People are calling for murdering Jews, fighting the Jewish conspiracy in the open, and the fear is disappearing.
Okay, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.